So Chris, can you, I'm hoping, have you listened to a little bit of this? Can you maybe pull back a little bit to 30,000 feet and talk about sort of content generally and how you see it? And then, I'm happy to, have you talk about what you're working on and all those things too, but maybe try to, you're the last up. So anything you've got that's sort of conclusory, please, please say it. So thank you for being here though.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation. I love your opening, which is content came from the word containers. And I think one of the most exciting thing to hear is experimentation in different form, different distribution methods. The fear is that these new containers end up being scattered like boxes of Amazon on the streets when they fall over in the truck. And how do we bring it back together? Because the truth to be told is that these containers need to come together, because I don't think any influencer or artist thinks of the different outputs as being different things. They think of that as their life's work, their creative output. So how can we create containers of content that can come back together? Which is not true. Different website, video is here, audio is there. So I think that's really the good question to ask. And how can we leverage technology, blockchain being one of that, but also the web technology, to find a new way of giving this kind of unit of containment that can come together so that we can mix and match AI generated thing with a payment stream in a seamless way. And I think that's really what is inspiring the conversation is we are gonna make this individual innovation, we always do, but what is the end game? How does it come together?
Great. Do you have are you going to do a presentation? I mean, should we slip over to the other side of the screen and let you go for a few and then jump back and talk at the end?
Absolutely. So I just want to kind of give a little bit of a context on essentially what I believe is the building blocks for the creative economy. So in general, when we talk about the history of content, creator create text, images, CDs, videos, films, and they hope that what comes back on the other side is some sort of, money, right? Purchase royalties and stuff like that. And different media type has different type of revenue stream. And this has worked a long time. If you made a song in the 70s, you're still getting a pretty nice check that, pays for your house and whatever it might be. But as we evolve to different type of social media, what we realize is that the tech platform has become the distribution network for almost all of text, starting with ebooks, now Twitter, and, Instagram for images, Spotify videos, professional ones like Netflix or live stream ones. And as you look at these things, even if we project forward to new type of media form, we realize that they already been taken up. The tech platform has claimed not only the media type itself, but also the distribute channel, and more importantly, the audience for all these types. So what ended up happening is that the world's creative output, what you choose as the output of your choice, what medium you choose, you're going to have to go through these network to get to your audience, which is fantastic, right? Because the distribution is amazing. You can get, 500,000, pins or like in like 3 seconds if you have the right influence. The problem is that all the ways that we know in the older media side, which is something that I worked in the past before I did open source and startup, I worked in R&D for a big Fortune 500 media company. These things like purchase subscriptions are now only beginning to trickle back, if at all. It's convoluted, how do you get paid from Spotify per stream? And more importantly, these things are fairly dangerous, which means Medium can shut down the program. You can't demonetize on YouTube and it's gone. You're making the output, enriching these organizations, but then your audience who loves you can't give you back the money because the channel isn't there. So the question is, even as we think of this content spectrum, it's getting worse because these companies, the FAANG, their spectrum, the corporate color, defines media. They don't want there to be text and images out there on the internet they monetize. They want that to be in their platform. And more importantly, because they have it on their platform, it's a Facebook video, not a video you shared on Facebook, right? It's an Instagram story, not some mixed media that you create on your own. Because they want to control all of the monetization going in. Now, obviously, the companies on the bottom here, Twitter and Roblox and obviously Fortnite, these are important. But, I'm worried this more of these second row logo will end up being acquired by the top and then we get worse. So the question is, this is the part of any blockchain presentation where we think the blockchain will solve all problems. But as Bill mentioned, it's a hard problem, not just because of scalability, but also is blockchain the entire solution or what other pieces there are? So I'm kind of an OG in this particular space. I created something in 2015 with Kevin McCoy and co-founder Anil Dash, and with to create basically the simplest possible blockchain monetization platform, which is digital art sales on the blockchain. So you can get paid and then use credit card, but we use the right transfer on the blockchain to register that on the Bitcoin blockchain. And that showed me what the blockchain can do, but also the fact that it's extremely expensive to record 75 limited editions on the blockchain and having to spend the transactions fee 75 times. So as I continue this exercise of understanding how do we actually practically bring the media industry to the blockchain, we thought about private blockchain. So we use Hyperledger Sawtooth, donated by Intel, to the Hyperledger project and Linux Foundation to build a media registry. And that was the Blockchain Music project, has some kind of a foundation of bringing these things together. It's mostly about royalties and audio and music. As we learn more and more, we realize even private blockchain doesn't have the scalability we need, which is, as Bill mentions, Verify Media is one of the companies working on it, and Cardstack, my organization, is working with Verify Media. I'm actually acting CTO. And invented a lot of technology. We're bringing new types of synchronization syndication using Git protocol, thinking about media as almost like source code and with files and media and synchronizing it, but using blockchain only to notify you that I uploaded 450,000 songs. And then we're using IPFS, which is a file system that's shared as a way to actually bring the assets. So the synchronization engine allows you to build these amazing interfaces that allows for the B2B use cases for recording how my song related to other things. And that's active work in progress that allows us to bring different media together and deal with not only royalties, but also selling of a catalog. It's like, hey, I made all this thing, let me sell you and monetize that. But why do we do this? We do this because, if you look at a platform like TikTok, the most important thing is that they have, bought a company called Musical.ly, allow them to license this audio, Doja Cat, this artist, and that audio create the inspiration for thousands, if not tens of thousands of people to create their own artistic expression. But without the music, you don't get to dance like nobody's watching, right? You need to have that kind of inspiration. So the license fee or the license model that TikTok has is what allow them to create this new creative expression for other people. But as mentioned earlier, this event, which is on April 23rd, 2020, the Travis Scott event, which is also about licensing, but in this case, 3D and AR and VR, if you have a goggle, it'll be amazing. This is Woodstock for this generation. This date is, they don't know the importance of that, but this changed the game in a game engine of what really media experiences and actually this kind of live experience is going to be, even though this is a cutscene that's pre-recorded in the 3D model. But these are all possible because we can mix and match the media types on top with hopefully an easier way to bring these license terms together. So this is my thesis. I believe that the building blocks for new creative forms has to be combined with building blocks for the commercial terms, so that every creative form has embedded commercial terms. That could be a token inside an audio file, but it could be a reference to something, even a PDF if that's what it is. But we need to know what the terms are so that we can use it and have the terms carry with them. And that's what Cardstack is working on, building essentially a wrapper on top of open source technology so that people who are not developer can use our tool and basically just assemble content and data types together and just allows you to create the layout and structure and then create lists for syndication. And once you create a thing, you get a kind of a boring CMS result, but it's more than that. Because it's functional, it's code that's embedded in, the player is built in. You can theme it and get fully capable thing. We have a buy button, have a QR code. And these are not really apps, they're content with function and app features embedded within them. And that unit of exchange, this themed version of this exchange, gives people not only the ability to create within the template that Facebook and Instagram and TikTok gives you, but allows them to work with developer and designer to create new forms and then have those things get distributed. And that's really what we want to be able to provide, is that this unit of composition that you can say, I want to make a subscription-based podcast. Let me take some from audio, maybe record a video and a transcript, and then combine that with a subscription ad revenue field or card. So that thing becomes by itself, without a platform, without Spotify adding a subscription program, monetizable. If I want to make a virtual live battle, I can pick the audio, video, mixed media, and then put in a commission to a merch that I'm selling, and then monetize that thing on the open web as a link. And then mention what Arif was saying. This is a way to take that AI to get the model so that, a celebrity of your choice can give your grandma or your aunt a great reading card of which revenue and royalties are there. So the artist is actually monetizing that. Now, the capability of that will be accepted, but the packaging of it is what we need to do to allow people to try all of these ideas. I don't know which one of these things will become the zeitgeist and become successful. But I think we have to give the tools for people, to creators, because they do a no-code way of trying these new things out and not having to wait for Instagram to add the feature. And the only way we can do that is to do it with open source, right? Sharing on the open web as a distribution channel, but going beyond just one company building a tool and having a service on the URL, but leveraging the existing marketplace. So we use JavaScript, and JavaScript has this module catalog called NPM. Every single card that is built in Cardstack is actually a module that you can just share on GitHub in the developer workflow. And with those capability, now you can go create a protocol to curate and syndicate and connect to not only one protocol that comes in today, but later on new things. And that's what is exciting. And that's what we're working on to enable this new types of composition and experimentation.
Wow, Chris, that is great, and it's a lot of information. I know, we ask a lot of all of our speakers today to sort of keep their comments to 10 minutes so we could move it along. Appreciate everybody doing that, and especially Chris. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
One of the things when I think about all of the types of content that we've talked about today, one of the things that always keeps coming back to me is that there's this tension between content as data, which it clearly is. I mean,
yes.
Content files are data, and content as art. So I'm
yes.
hoping that, or as a communication tool. And I think what we're hearing, and I think Chris, what I heard a lot and what you were saying is that, when you have that underlying layer of for the data, that where the content sort of sits in that data and has attributes to it.
Yes.
You can have the TikTok explosion of creativity that comes on the artistic side, where people can use that content and riff off of it and do other things.
Yeah, and it's very important for us to think about the content to include its player, right? But like an embed code. But it will be much more interesting if the content embeds its creative tool, which is kind of what happens if you're in TikTok and you do a remix or something, or like a duet, right? The tool comes with it, but it's really an illusion. But if we can do it in an open source way, because a web page is the content with the JavaScript, the tools with it. So it's just a little bit of packaging to take that open web technology that ironically, Google, Apple, and Microsoft is working on to make it better and better, more powerful, but subverts that centralized control so we have to go to google.com and Apple App Store to get there. Can we use that basic runtime and just with a little bit of packaging to create that content container for the next wave of the creative economy?
Well, it's fascinating. Ben, do you have anything any concluding thoughts? I think we're so over time that I know I'm cognizant of that. So.
Well, I'm struck by the range of challenging information we've had today and the range of solutions as well. So I think it's sort of some hopefulness and some dystopianism as well.
Well, that seems like an appropriate theme for our dual theme for our time right now. So, Chris, thank you. Ben, thank you very much for doing this with me.